All Things Cinema Vodcast. Fahad. Fahad.
ये bloopers में डाल सकते हो आप यार, it'll be fun. You can put bloopers at the end probably of the video. ऐसा कुछ.
इस चैनल पे दो ही लोग चलते हैं, फहाद और फरहाद. So, you know, you won't mind being spoken in the same breath as Fahad Fasil, right? So,
Oh, I'm honored.
so we have Farhad, not Fahad. There will be, inshallah, one day when Fahad will also come and we will talk to him. But Farhad is making a comeback after a long time on the channel. I know everyone is going gaga over the new Spider-Man film. People are actually saying that it was as fun as watching the Endgame, the Avengers Endgame, because they felt that sort of emotion once again. And they could feel the same amount of energy in the theaters among all the audience. And shows like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. shows were going houseful. And I think
4 a.m.
Marvel,
also.
yes, so that way I think Marvel had this masterstroke of releasing the film in India a day in advance. So I thought rather than jumping deep into this recent Spider-Man film, why don't we analyze on the whole the three Spider-Man franchises that have been there for the last couple of decades, and in three very different timelines for us, especially like because we when we were growing up, we were kids. We started out with the first one, Tobey Maguire's one, and then you know coming out of school into the college time, then Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man came, and now once you got into your 20s and job and everything, then you have Tom Holland. So three very different phases in life for us, and three very different franchises of Spider-Man as well, because all three of them are so different from each other in so many ways, and yet we both, and I'm sure all the people watching right now, they all have their personal favorite as well. With any sort of biasness, that's okay, because we all have our reasons to like something more than the other. So Farad, I know it's a very very tough choice to make, because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man always will have that sentimental value, because it was the one which kick-started this whole thing, which really made Spider-Man cool, so to say, so that will always have its own special place. And then Tom Holland's one, because of being a part of the Marvel universe, and another other superheroes also coming in, and he was also part of other Avenger films as well. So that way, this one has its own novelty, but somehow Andrew Garfield's franchisee got sandwiched between both of these. So some people say it's not as great, and it's not really it wasn't up to the mark as the other two. But some people, I've also seen a huge chunk of people, especially recently, who actually come out and say that this one is such an underrated series. And uh, for some of them, including me, I feel Andrew Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man, just purely acting wise, was the best of the three. So now let me ask you, I've given like a preface of all the three. So for you, when you think of Spider-Man, which out of these three comes to your mind सबसे पहले?
Before I start, I mean, if any one of y'all would like to read the full review of No Way Home, you, Keshav, you can leave that link in the description of Popcorn Reviews. Coming back to your question, I feel it is always going to be Tobey Maguire for me. I mean, that it has a very nostalgic feel. I was in school when I think it had come out. It was in 2004 or four, I think, right? When the first
2000.
2002 was it? Okay. So yeah, I was definitely in school then. That had a very sentimental value. It was probably one of my first experiences of a superhero, movie in a theater at that point. And I still remember watching it with my friend, and his mom were there, and they had taken us. That time we weren't allowed to go alone as well. to watch a film. So we, had gone with my uh, friend and his mom, and it was a quite an enjoyable experience. It was like Spider-Man, and yeah, it was fun. And that full franchise I really enjoyed. One and two were excellent. Three was a little okay. It wasn't as good as one and two, but Tobey Maguire for me was definitely number one. Then came, I think, yeah, as you rightly said, I was in college as well when the one with Andrew Garfield came out, and one, I think that even started Irfan Khan, by the way. One had Irfan Khan as well, and I felt it was okay. One wasn't. It was called The Amazing Spider-Man, but I didn't feel it was so amazing. It was okay. But when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came, the Jamie Foxx one, that I think was, one of the best amongst the five films at that point of time that had come out. That was one of the best. I really had a good time watching Amazing Spider-Man 2. Then I think with the merger of Sony and Marvel, Spider-Man was inducted into the Avengers, and that's when Tom Holland came in. So each Spider-Man signified a phase of our life, probably. So as you rightly said, for me it was always the first one would always be special. So it has to be Tobey Maguire for me.
No, I mean, for me also, as I said, there is some sort of sentimental value with it, and I actually relate to it a little bit more because at that point of time, people used to tell me that I look like Tobey Maguire a little bit. I don't know how much they meant it, but at that point of time, when I had a little bit more younger looks, so to say, the kiddish looks that he portrayed, uh, you know, uh, so. So that way, I think, yeah. I mean, uh, so now let's dig a little deeper into these three. So, uh, just pure acting wise, now leave alone your sentimental values and all, or how you relate to it. I believe out of the three, Andrew Garfield is the more skillful actor. He's the only one out of the three who is actually Oscar nominated as well for Hacksaw Ridge, and I felt his portrayal was very true to the original comic, and I think the jump that is there from being a very mean sort of snub in his college, and then from his character development, how Gwen motivates him to become a better person. So that character arc, he did effortlessly. So for me, out of the three, his portrayal, just purely based on acting skills, he stands out. What about you?
It'll again be tough. I think it'll be Tobey Maguire again for me, because I felt he did show quite a lot of scope, and not scope, I mean, quite a lot of range as an actor when he was portraying the role of Amazing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield definitely comes close, and I think Tom Holland, I think he did come of age in No Way Home, to be honest. He was fantastic in the film. So it'll be a little unfair also on Tom Holland, because I think now we can start judging him as how he's going to take the franchisee forward, of because I don't think he's going anywhere, especially with this sort of a performance. So this is a coming of age. It's No Way Home, but he was coming home this time. So
Uh,
but I feel for me it was Tobey Maguire.
and with Tom Holland, there was a little bit of an extra cushion for him because he had so many other actors as well present in his
Yeah, exactly.
franchisee. Because there was Tony Stark, and then there was somebody like a Jake Gyllenhaal. When he's in your film, you don't have to do a lot of hard work yourself, because he will be taking a lot of screen space and screen time and catching eyeballs more than you, because he's such a fantastic actor. But for the other two, I felt, especially Andrew, I think he was completely taking the movie ahead on his own. And uh, another factor which I really want to bring in is the chemistry between Gwen and Peter Parker in that amazing series. That, I think, the chemistry between those two, I felt it was better than the other two. I don't know if you feel the same, but you know how how we are all a fan of Mary Jane and Peter Parker, especially from the first one, but just the chemistry, the romance between these two in Amazing series, I felt it was more organic. And uh, also, not to forget, Andrew is the only one where she dies, and he has to
Yeah,
he has
he
to
loses Gwen. Yeah.
cope with the death of his girlfriend as well. And that scene, man, when he breaks down, when she's dead in his arms, I can't really forget his performance in that particular scene. So extra brownie point for him for losing his girlfriend.
Always the case. It's always the case. So I feel if I have to look at it from an overall perspective, if there are like three in the first Spider-Man series, two in the second, and then the rest. I feel that performance of Andrew Garfield in the second film, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think tops all the performances. I think if I have to look overall, because I think that was as you rightly said, that was the film where he loses Gwen as well. I think in the second part. Uh, so yeah, so that was, I think, a memorable performance for me, and probably the best. But if I look at it overall, then of course my sentiments and my biasness would be towards Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, a bit, a little more probably. Um, I think Tom Holland and Zendaya, they make a great pair as well. But I think there isn't seriousness. I feel there's not much passion in their, so to say, story. So I feel that's where their shortcoming is. Interestingly, the word shortcoming. But I agree. I mean, I agree what you're saying. I think that performance, that it was hard to hold back your tears as well. When Gwen dies, and he's the only one who doesn't technically doesn't get Mary Jane, or his, in this case, Gwen. So that makes it all the more heartbreaking, so to say. So yeah, that's right.
And I have a little bit more inclination towards that because Amazing Spider-Man 2 was scored by Hans Zimmer, and that has been one soundtrack which has been pivotal in my coming of age as a music composer, because I have listened to it so much and learned to it so much just from listening it over the years when I was in college in Chennai, and we used to study music production and composition. So it came in 2014. It coincided with that time when I used to consume a lot of Hans Zimmer. So for me, again, another added factor there. Now let's talk about which Spider-Man suit you like the most out of the all three. Uh, I felt a lot of people think the first franchise, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, is actually not that great a film, but the black suit he wears in that, I mean, that one really killed it for me. That is such an underrated suit.
I mean, I'm on the fence. I mean, I'm probably, you can say, old school. I like the traditional, so to say, uniform as well. But having said that, I feel I like Tom Holland's costume of Spider-Man. I think that has a bit of both. It's not too bright as it was in the first film.
But don't
I think,
uh,
yeah,
don't you think since Tom Holland's costume or the suit was actually given to him by Tony Stark, so technically he
yeah,
designed it himself. The other two actually designed it themselves, and this one
yeah.
he had the all the AI and technology fitted into that already given to him, like in a gift wrapped platter. So that way, I think the other two deserve some extra brownie points because they themselves made it from scratch.
Yeah, but I think the question was that which one did you like, watching? So for that, I feel it was Tom Holland. I think since you brought up the topic of the black suit as well, I feel there's that tinge of that darkness in that uniform of Tom Holland as well. It's not too bright. It's not. Uh, yeah, I still remember. If you remember the first Spider-Man, that was the Tobey Maguire one, which he designs the suit for the very first time. It was so organic, like it didn't seem like a superhero film. It came straight out of the closet, like how it would be like in any of us, like if we are fanboys of Spider-Man and if you want to, replicate it, that's how it would exactly be. So that was funny. I remember that right now.
It felt like any kid would wear it to the fancy dress competition.
That's the best competition, yeah. So that was also there. I remember that right now.
I felt that here probably Andrew Garfield's his suit was kind of combination of the other two. It was slick and the color tones were also mix of both the first one and the second one and third one. But overall, I think
What what I feel is that looking back, why Andrew Garfield is considered underrated as far as the Spider-Man performance is concerned is probably because the first part, the Amazing Spider-Man, did not have a good antagonist.
hmm,
You know, he did not have a good antagonist, which is why that film, so to say, tanked. So many people may not have watched or may have underappreciated part two, which was fabulous for me. The Jamie Foxx one.
I mean
So I feel that,
that
yeah,
that Electro character was so so well written because and
yeah,
theme, if you remember that theme that Hans Zimmer composed for that character, and I think people also didn't have that much interest in the second part because of how the first one fared, right? If the first one would
exactly.
have been a great one, then I think second one would have gone on to become a much more serious film than it is today.
And
It's like the
yeah,
first Spider-Man, the third one was the weakest one, but then the first two had already done such an impact on people that people still went for the third one, right? But here,
that's exactly what I was coming to.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, first impression is the lasting impression, right? Not if not the
I
last
think if anything, the first Spider-Man, the third film that was there, I think that sealed the deal. That was probably the end of that section of the franchise
impression.
because I think the makers tried to do a little too much. They tried to throw in a lot more antagonists than they should have in the first place. So it got a little darker, which wasn't well with the palette of a superhero film then. The Dark Knight wasn't out at that time, and it was a little unconventional also for a superhero film, which especially like a Spider-Man who's like we label it as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood superhero. For that, it got a little overstretched, which is why I feel the third one just wasn't up to the mark for me.
And what about the rumors that are floating around these days that Sony has, ordered to reinstall the Amazing Franchise and a third part might still be coming. So, are you excited about that development? And if yes, who would you like to see as the villain this time opposite him?
This is the first time I'm hearing the news,
I
Keshav.
just saw it
So you you got me excited. So when you're saying the third part, you're saying like how, like continuation of Andrew Garfield, that one.
today. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, who would be the supervillain then? Um, I would like to see some big name, that is dedicated to the franchise. Someone like DiCaprio or uh, Brad Pitt or someone like totally who is like uh, or even for that matter, a Tom Cruise.
Hmm.
Someone who is like a big name, which then becomes fun. Like someone like a Jamie Foxx when he came on board as an antagonist. I think that just took the movie to another level. When you have a strong antagonist and you have a character specifically that you'd be written keeping that actor in mind, I think it makes a lot of difference.
Yep. Yeah, for me, I think when I read the news today, and it's not just today, for the last couple of days, I've been seeing, Andrew Garfield has been trending on Twitter. I mean, Tom Holland's film has come out, and it's Andrew who's trending. So people are kind of now realizing, even though this the latest Spider-Man film is a good film, if not the best, but it's a good film. But the portrayal of Spider-Man, people still are probably not as used to somebody as a Tom Holland as they were to Toby or even Andrew. And Andrew is such an underrated actor himself, not just when you talk about Spider-Man, but his other performances like, Social Network or Hacksaw Ridge, which was, nominated for Oscars.
Amazing movie. Amazing film. Yeah.
So that way, I think he's such a good actor, and if 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 at all, uh, just imagine if the first Amazing Spider-Man would have been good. I mean, where Andrew Garfield would have been today. So let's ask people also to put in the comments who your favorite Spider-Man character is or Spider-Man franchisee. You can just tell your reasons as well. Like I told my reasons for Andrew Garfield, Farhad told his reasons for Tobey. So if any one of you have Tom Holland as your favorite, then put it in the comments below as well. We would love to see your comments as well. Okay, well, guys, it's safe to say it's unanimous. Both of us have the mutual interest in Amazing Spider-Man 2 here, if you talk about just the. And when it comes to the Spider-Man, then Farhad has Toby and I have Andrew. I hope that you guys have also seen all these amazing films. And by chance, there's a good chance that people would have missed the Amazing Spider-Man series and watched the other two because the other two have created more hype. So if you have not seen, you can just skip the first part of Amazing series and directly watch the second one, and you will still thank us.
Yeah, totally. And not to forget, there's a Indian superhero movie coming out this Friday. So I think we all should be gearing up for that as well.
We should be, and someday probably just like we are talking about these superheroes, one day we'll do another video where we'll be comparing Bhavesh Joshi and Krish and Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota and Milan Murli together. So that will be fun.
Yeah, that'll
Uh,
be fun as well.
so once again, thank you, Farhad, for your time, and let's hope that the rumors are true and we get to see Amazing Spider-Man 3 as well someday in near future. Oh, by the way, I'm also really looking forward to the new Batman starring Robert Pattinson coming in March.
Next
Its
year.
trailer dropped
Next
a
year.
month ago, and that was again. I think I was the only person in the whole world that was more excited for the new Batman than the new Spider-Man. So I don't know, just the inclination towards Batman. It's like again, it's like now. See how we did this video, right? So in March we'll be doing a video where we'll be comparing Christian Bale, and then second one
Uh, अपना ये
Ben Affleck.
आर्गो वाला
Ben
बेन एफ्लेक हाँ आर्गो वाला हाँ
Robert Pattinson. So we'll be doing a comparison for that. And hands down, I think it will be a 2-minute video where we'll all agree, okay, Christian Bale movie.
क्रिश्चियन बेल has to be
Yeah. All right, thank you, Farhad, and thank you guys for watching.
pleasure, pleasure.
Please hit the like button if you did enjoy this conversation. I've told I don't do these call to action things much, so I should be doing it more often. So it helps with the algorithm. So guys, if you liked it, please subscribe if you haven't so far, and check out Farhad's website as well. And we'll see you super soon in the next video. Good night, goodbye, see you.